presentations here and getting ready. There we go for my actual presentation. Hello, I'm so happy to be here. I'm waiting for a few people to tune on in, and I might just adjust my camera slightly in order for there to be a better picture. There we go. You can hear me a little bit better, and I'll be a little bit closer to the mic. Just waiting for a few people to tune in, and I want to tell you all about life update. First of all, waiting for some people to actually tune in, and then so excited to describe what I'm going to be sharing with you with my colleague, part and friend, and whatever I would call it, cosmic co-worker, who is named Patricia. That's coming up in next week. Just getting rid of a notification there. So, good, wonderful. I have a person signed in. I know that my stream is working. For anyone who's new and who doesn't know me, hello, I'm Aurora. This is the Flying Rainbow Lasagna, which is the hyper-torus shape that I am best well known for. And the work that I am going to be sharing with you in the coming week is an intensive workshop. So the reason why I'm doing this little live is in order to connect with you more, tell you more about the idea or the approach or the intention or the philosophy behind what I'm going to be sharing. And really to clarify, because I did write an enrollment page that I'm not sure if it got across the real intentions for what I'm here sharing. The workshop, first of all, when I say vocal toning, I'm not talking about anything that requires you to have the skills of a professional singer or an operatic voice or anything like that, even though it certainly does help and strengthen and open your vocal cords and all of that. It is really about singing through the chakras or energy centers of the body for self-empowerment, for healing of your own body, and for really a healing that radiates outward from your personal individual experience into the larger aspect of life, the larger consciousness context that we are a part of. So this has to do with a lot of the work that I've been teaching about in my online class. And for anyone, first of all, for people who are tuned in, thank you for being here. If you don't mind, share my live video while I'm live so that more people can find me, because I'm doing this as a very impromptu, spur of the moment sharing to be able to speak with you this morning. So I haven't scheduled it or told everyone all about it. So yeah, this is just Saturday morning and an opportunity to talk about these things. What I teach about and share about in my class, which is Lessons for Full Spectrum Humans, especially over the past couple of weeks, is really all about what we would call negative thought forms, but I'm using language that is extremely neutral, so even negative is in quotes. And this is a challenge because we're at this level here of this love perspective where we're looking at things from a unity consciousness viewpoint, where we see that all of these aspects of consciousness are fragments of a divine being or a divine entity that is actually us, that is actually you, that is actually your own individuality present, but just scaled up and in a different level. And that we are all here as these fractal, fragmentary aspects of self that are here interacting with self for the purposes of learning, growing, and healing. And that includes the beings that I've called in my class those pesky occupiers of the interstices. And I came up with that as a way of calling them something that is a less emotionally charged word than to call them demons or evil. And you can tell from my exaggeration there that I'm being a little bit silly in the way that I say that. But I don't mean to mock anybody's religion or anybody's deeply held spiritual beliefs, not at all. And that I very much respect what it feels like to be under assault. I've been there, I've been in hell realms, I have felt what it feels like, I'm just continually getting rid of notifications, pardon me. I've felt what it feels like to be in those lower, denser strata, the layers of reality where it feels like everything is eating you, everything is attacking you. And of course, what you want to do is go into warrior mode and you want to fight back. But all of that creates an endless struggling in duality. And the past couple of weeks, what I've been teaching about in my online class is really about mastering the mind, different levels of meditation, unity consciousness viewpoint, and a stance of achieving the balance of unconditional love, which is this right here, the love tone. love tone. The love tone that becomes like a plateau and a force field of grace upon which all of these other higher faculties are able to balance. And the faculties are these chakras or energy centers of our body. And that these higher faculties have everything to do with the higher strata, the less dense realms, the realm of pure intuition. And this is also the realm of Christ consciousness. And of course, there was a great avatar that we know as Jesus, who is a teacher, a master, who was here 2,000 years ago, who is part of our internal experience, who is an inner teacher inside of each one of us. And that this is our eye of time. It is our library card to the cosmos. It is our way of connecting to that larger presence. And then this crown as being the connection to the divine, and where we receive divine guidance, guidance as to where we look with this eye of time and how we perceive the world and how we are able to use our tendril of attention for reaching out for information, guidance, nourishment, and an informed experience based on the world around us. So in that context of what I've been, that framework of what I've already been teaching in my online class, I've been learning some wonderful things by working with a friend and colleague of mine in Lebanon, who's named Patricia. And sometimes we are able to connect in terms of our time zones and do a video together. And sometimes it is a challenge because we are in wildly different levels of the world time zone structure. So that's why sometimes I do these on my own. We will be coordinating our schedules in order to be able to do the upcoming workshop together at the same time, along with a variety of people across North America, and also possibly some Australians, and also people that are in Europe. So this is all, a challenge to be able to find a time when everybody can synchronize and coordinate in a live video. However, understand that through your consciousness being connected beyond time and space. That is what quantum entanglement really means. Telepathy and the attention and this capacity to reach out and talk mind to mind, telepathy, empathy meaning feeling, not just mind communication, but also empathy, feeling structure and feeling body feelings from others. It is beyond time and space. So even if you are in a divergent time zone, know that the intention, the love, and the energetic presence is there for you to access, even if you are getting a digital recording of the experience. And that is truthful of all of these different types of meditations, experiences, classes, teachings that are ongoing for all of us. Quantum entanglement meaning that we are connected on the level of pure light and unity consciousness. All of that being said, what is the intention for the upcoming vocal toning workshop, and what is vocal toning? It is, again, making a series of vowel sounds that are abstract and amorphous, not necessarily like the type of language that I'm using to speak to you right now called English language, singing with tones, using the voice to put light energy into these areas of the body, rebalancing, cleansing, and healing the pure frequency aspect of your body. Now, I felt compelled to hop on and do this live video today because I really wanted to explain and describe more. And if people have questions, please do question and make comments, and I should be able to read in the live chat. I hope that the chat is activated, and I don't know if I need to press a button. Pardon me while I press on buttons. Okay, yeah, no, I don't think I need to do that. But yes, someone give me a chat and make sure that it's actually working. Wait, maybe I need to call something up. Top chat, live chat, all messages are visible. Good, okay, so yeah, you should be able to talk with me if you have questions. The purpose of all of this is basically healing your body. And I want to make that really, really clear, because as I'm saying, I've felt what it feels like to be what you would say is like under attack, under assault, heavily embattled, struggling a lot between good versus evil, you versus an attacker, vector versus vector, like a vector is a force, thing versus thing, all of this pushing and pulling. And what that does is it keeps a person experiencer. Thank you, School of Multidimensional Intuition. thank you so much that you're tuned in. Thank you that I can see that your chat is working, and thank you for being here. Oh, infinite corridors, also beautiful to read what you say. You say you have been wearing a head pyramid and doing Om chanting while grounding the amount of energy that they're getting, and wondering and starting to see auras and energy in the matrix. Beautiful reportage. So a lot of what this vocal toning does is it transforms one's experience and interrelationship to what would be called the energy matrix, or the larger intangible presence within which we find ourselves in terms of our chakra system. Your chakras are energy fields. Hold on a second. Sorry to walk off camera. I'll keep talking while I grab my little sculpture. And I'm so prepared today. I have my little sculpture right here. I know it's a dark color, but you can see it kind of highlighted against my shirt. This is what the shape of a chakra or an energy field is. And you can see it highlighted against the back there. So it's basically these 4 vortices, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's an implied one here and an implied one here. And we have a series of these in nested proportions that go all the way up the physical body, but that also are telescoped inward, like the nested Russian dolls, the Matrushka dolls, that are nested levels of reality, and these are all created from the indentation of the fabric of reality itself by what I call the infinitely heavy bowling ball of your consciousness. Like a very heavy bowling ball placed on a stretchy fabric, how it would stretch that out. If it stretched it to an infinite point, that is what this is right here. That is the singularity. Look, I have one on my shirt. That is the singularity. And the singularity is this convergence point of all of these vortex levels of time and experience. So I teach about this in a very abstract sense in all of my classes. And again, continual invitation and encouragement for people to enroll, because I love teaching about this. I love connecting mind to mind with the beautiful consensual partners that come and are a part of my class. And people share beautiful insights back to me of their own experiences and their own view of reality. And it's all about empowerment information. Everything that I share is really meant to be like, here's how to be literate, here's a map of time, here's how to navigate time more fully. And the workshop also has in its intention, at the foundation of what it is, self-empowerment. Self-empowerment, self-healing, rectification of any imbalances in the chakra system itself. Let me read what Infinite Corridors, I'm sorry if I didn't have your name right. Infinite Corridors says, thank you so much for making and sharing these videos. You're so welcome. Seeing energy in the matrix is really fun, and in learning more on different levels because of it. So happy to hear that reportage from you. And yes, the direct perception of energy that comes from the awakened higher faculties. This is part of the growth and maturation process. When you create this stable foundation of love, this plateau here, and then the throat, the eye of insight, and the crown, the connection to the divine, all balance on top of here perfectly, and they pivot, as these perfect, like gyro-stabilized aspects of self, that allows for the experiencer to read time directly, to connect to the library of information that is in existence, to be taught by the inner teacher that is an inner master, that is infinitely loving, infinitely compassionate, infinitely forgiving of you and your mistakes in your journey. It's not a harsh, master or anything like that. And also the reconnection to God presence, the divine. When I speak about this, I'm speaking about something that is not human-centered, not anthropomorphic, although of course I give great love and respect to anybody who's on the journey and who believes in a human-shaped God, never criticizing you, but I'm always just very clear what I'm speaking about is a divine presence that is non-denominational, because I want it to be something that is accessible, understandable, and able to be embraced by a person who might be Jewish, Christian, Hindu, non-denominational, Shinto, pagan, or any appreciator of what our presence here is in terms of a miraculous structure, that we are more than mere material nonsense. We are very miraculous consciousness stuff that is upheld by very miraculous levels of consciousness and created, upheld, and propelled by this very miraculous thing that is called God presence, and that I'm always encouraging and inviting everyone to remember that it's actually you. You are actually that presence. You are actually that higher, less dense convergence point, infinite aspect of self. And that, again, each one of us is a reflection, a fractal, an individuation that has come here into an individuated epidermis, your skin, your own boundary system, and is having an enlightenment experience by reflecting and bouncing off of each other in these different vectors. We have gifts to give to one another, we have gifts to receive from one another. These are gifts of spiritual treasure. And that is, all of this is focused on what I'm teaching about, because I have to be really clear now, as I'm like 15 minutes into this impromptu video. What I'm teaching about is not about intended adversarial conflict. I'm actually not encouraging you to get a sword, bow and arrow, like I don't want to use too many keywords or whatever, or, speak of violence too much, but I try to use all of these words that are not about war, embattlement, fighting against, and more words and vocabulary that are about empowerment, healing, the unfoldment of your journey of consciousness. Because when you really look at this, when you scale back all the way up to unity consciousness and the divine presence and the way that things look like from that aspect, all of these things that are out here that we're dealing with, that can feel like a real struggle, that can feel like real attacks on you or on your being or on your health, it all is a part of God presence. And that there are a lot of things that need healing all up and down the ladder of consciousness. So I'm a galactic walk-in. That is my journey. I actually came from a higher dimensional, less dense realm through this portal of consciousness that I created called Flying Rainbow Lasagna, that is made by vibrating this in a higher dimension, in this human body, into physicality, into a denser level than I was occupying, because there are challenges at the higher levels or beyond the levels that we're currently in here. There's problems all up and down the spectrum of consciousness. When I say problems, let's say imbalances, disturbances, areas that are bereft, that need energy, that don't have energy there. Maybe there's some energy that's stuck over here, that's actually supposed to be way over here, but it couldn't find a way in its journey to get to where it needs to go. That's what I'm really talking about. There's a huge ongoing rectification event in the field of pure consciousness, in the field of pure time, which is what you see. These are what my paintings are. This is what my outfit is all about. It's a living time field. It's a tapestry of time that's woven together by events. It's not just a thing, an object. It's an alive presence, and it has metabolism, just as we need to breathe to stay alive and have our blood flow to stay alive. The time field needs to have time flowing in these beautiful figure eight patterns, flowing through it in these beautiful figure eights. Oh, here comes my little dog, because she hears that I'm talking on the video. She wants to be a part of it. Come on over, girl, be a part of things. The figure eights and the movement of the energy through the time field is what keeps that metabolism going and breathing and alive and healthy. And when there are limitations to the free flow of energy and consciousness, that is when the time field itself, this perfect fabric, this perfect tapestry, is threatened in its existence. Like it can become frayed, like threads that fray and fall apart. And if they don't connect together, then you lose the integrity of the entirety of the holistic living field of time, events, causality, structure. This thing happened because of this thing. This person did this, and energy went here, and it bounced over here, and bounced over here, and made this happen, and made this happen. It's an amazing, beautiful complexity when you really start to activate and get up to these higher levels and seeing on that level. It's mind-blowing. It really is. It is so impressive to be able to see the connection of all of these things that are happening, and how the events of your individual life matter profoundly, how what you do and say and think and what your body is experiencing profoundly connects to and affects and is affected by the health of the totality. That is what motivates my journey being here. I'm a walk-in. I've been here for 20 years. And let me read what you say. Elde, PH height. Beautiful to speak with you. I'm not exactly sure how to translate your name. It says, are you aware of the state being race that you were in your previous state of consciousness to your galactic walk-in? I'm a big fan of you, your knowledge, your sharing, your teaching, and happy for you to be here now. Thank you so much for that praise. And then there's another comment. I'll speak to your other comment. But to L2, yes, where I came from and how I describe myself is called Aurora, the Aurora Collective. So here I am named Aurora. I have that name as 20 years that I've been here. It's not the name of the original person whose life and whose body I walked into. And the reason why I have that name is because that's the name of the larger superstructure of consciousness that I derive from, that I'm still connected to. The consciousness group that I'm from, like a group mind, it's like a band or a symphony. Just like in a symphony where you have, the percussion, the drums, the timpani, and you have violins, and you have trumpets, and you have flutes, many different types of instruments. My consciousness collective is made up of wonderful, abstract light beings, coherent light beings, consciousnesses that have come from all over, every place and every when. They are excellent musicians from various different levels of being or levels of experience. Like some people might have been embodied as a human, some people might have been embodied as a lion being or as a gaseous being or as a crystalline structure being. Love, love, love right back to you, Matthew Prasi. Thank you so much for being here. So much love, feeling it from you, reflecting it back. Thank you. Yes, so my band, my symphony, my collective is made up as an amalgamation of many different types of galactic beings and species across a very, very vast amount of time. And that what we do is travel as a group. We're a group, we're a band. Just like in your body, you have trillions of cells that all work together as one metaphysical whole, holistic whole. And your heart and your lungs and your liver and your skin all work together. That's what my collective is like. And I have a concurrent existence. So I derive from my collective. This is very different than saying like, I come from a star or I come from a planet. I flew there from here and now I'm living here. It's not like that. I come from a level of being. And that level of being I still inhabit and occupy even as I'm continually vibrating here into this body through this DNA portal, through this DNA portal, the Flying Rainbow Lasagna, as a way of bringing energy from up there, out there, beyond the contextual container that is here into this time, place, now. And the reason I'm doing that, it's a rectification event because this was a closed system. So a closed system means, like, let's say you have a machine, for lack of a better word, or an apparatus or a box or a circle or a sphere, like a bubble that has a limited amount of energy inside of it, like a terrarium, like a glass, what is it called? Like a greenhouse. And there's a certain amount of soil and a certain amount of oxygen and a certain amount of organisms. And if it's imbalance, then it can keep on generating life over and over and over and over and over. However, there was an imbalance in the closed system. And that means in terms of time, things moving out of balance and a perturbation or a loss of energy due to what we would say like friction and entropy. In science talk here, friction and entropy means like something is being slowed down, like it's rubbing together, you're losing energy. Or you could think of it as having like, you could have an infinite amount of money. If I have $100 and I send it to you and you send $100 back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But let's say if you keep on losing a penny every time you send the energy back and forth, then eventually you'll be down to 1 penny because there's only a certain number of times you can lose and then keep on going. And what we're supposed to have here is a continual, beautiful system of eternal energy, eternal life, constantly circulating and moving and changing and shifting and growing. So the real challenge was, from my viewpoint, just drinking a little bit of my beautiful structured water, from my viewpoint, in the highest dimensional or beyond dimensional viewpoint, seeing this imbalance happening here and knowing that it's gonna reverberate up to where I am, because everything's connected. That is the real truth of unity consciousness. In unity consciousness, there is a state of total responsibility because everything affects me, because me is defined as everythingness. So there's no way to be like, hey, not my job. That stuff over there that's happening, that's only you over there, and I'm just me over here, and everything's great over here, which is really how I describe my existence. In many ways, my existence as Aurora, the Aurora Collective, is very blissful and very comfortable compared to what it's like here. Like there's no worrying about, whatever, like your electricity bills, or whether you have enough, food from the store, or you need to get coconut milk or something like that. It's not like that. Everything is pure consciousness, divine food, light that comes in and feeds the light body. That's very different than the concern for circumstances and resources that come with the limitation of having a physical metabolism and a mortal body. However, there are very great concerns, even at my level of existence as Aurora Collective, in terms of looking at, I'll get to all of these beautiful comments, looking at what was happening here embedded in time. Because you have to understand there are like graduating classes. So what's happening here in this level of the school, the University of the Universe, the student body here, there weren't going to be that very many graduates. And if we don't have a graduating class here, in order to move to this level, to move to this level, to move to this level, it affects the entirety. The fabric of time itself begins to become imperiled in its integrity, in its consistency, in causality structures holding together. So for causality structure to hold together, something had to happen. And what I did 20 years ago in my walk-in experience was that something, which is create the flying rainbow lasagna. I spontaneously generated the math solution to, greetings, thank you for being here, Mr. Limes, the solution to how to maintain the structural integrity of the fabric of space, time, and consciousness is this flying rainbow lasagna oscillation that allowed me to oscillate in here and create a rectification event, bringing in new energy from outside of the closed system. New air, new water, new energy, new consciousness, new nutrients coming into what was a closed encapsulated system, into the box, into the terrarium, so that the beings here could get fed with new ideas. And I'm going to put this down so that you can kind of see with my hands. Those new ideas change and shift the direction of the totality of all of the consciousness that is here. You're like on a big giant boat, like a ship on the ocean. And the ocean boat doesn't just go like at 90-degree angles. It has to go in an arc. It has to change. You're sailing through time, and time is an ocean with waves and currents. You don't just go like, it's not like that. For many, many consciousnesses that are all woven together as what is happening here in this ecosystem, in this life, it's necessary to change and shift. So what you do is you like drop a pebble, put a seed crystal into the supersaturated solution. Consciousness crystallizes around that concept, around that new idea. And that's what flying rainbow lasagna is, a new idea, a new thing that came in, and then that shifted. Everyone started to shift like this. Then more light came in and shifted more light came in and shifted more. So the whole entirety of what you are all a part of has been shifting incrementally over 20 years. And this is shifting away from a fear-based reality, away from the manifestations that are about death and destruction, and moving towards a love-based reality, the love tone, and continued life in these eternal patterns that are divine patterns. A dance, it's a beautiful, amazing dance that is done with your energy field and with your mind and with your consciousness, and your dance partner is God, the divine presence, this abstraction that is you on a higher level, pure energy, the energy of creation. You're dancing with your own creation. You're dancing in these beautiful cosmic patterns of like an ocean. You're dancing within a beautiful ocean of consciousness. It makes me just want to like do the dance right now. The dance itself is a form of movement-based communication, beyond what I jokingly call the flapping of my moving mouth parts. This is a different, more laborious type of communication, but really all of the amazing movements that I'm doing with my body and with my cells and with my DNA vibrating and with my energy field and the way that I'm connecting to all of you with my thought emanations and my causality structures through time, with my physical artwork and music presence. This is all a type of dance. Dancing with each other, and it is consensual, meaning we do it in agreement with one another. Like, would you like to dance? Will you take my arm and dance? Beautiful, let's dance together, let's do this. It is meant to be in love. That is also what part of what love is, unconditional love and freedom and acceptance for who you are and where you are in your level of your journey. And that is literally the story of why I'm here, the story, my journey, my structure of why I'm here, the motivation for, like, why am I not just like sitting on a cloud someplace, like eating interdimensional strawberries, like in the most luxurious way, even though, I have a beautiful life here. But also my life has sometimes been incredibly challenging and sometimes filled with pain and suffering, just as each one of you has also gone through difficult times, physical illnesses, being attacked by negative thought forms or what would be called demons or any of those things. Not to bring it all down to that lower stratum, but I want you to know that I am here in a physical body, even as I'm oscillating back and forth with that level of divine bliss, in solidarity with you. Because it would be so different if I was up there like, oh yeah, guys, here's the solution. You just do this, 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 and this, and everything is fine. Like snap your fingers, everything is fine. You would look at me and you'd be like, Aurora, that is easy for you to say. Like, you're sitting on a cloud of divine bliss, and we're here in an actual world where there's money and bacterial infections and all of the challenges that everybody is facing with technology. So in order to really make it fair, and in order for me not to just be blithely sending out unfunded mandates, like, yeah, like, how do you fix things? Well, you just do this, this, and this, and then it's fine. Jump out the window, like, let's go. It's really important for me to explain and describe that I'm here in solidarity with you. I have a physical structure, eating food and drinking water, facing the challenges. Oh, thank you so much, Elda. I'm so happy to respond to you. They're saying, responding to my telepathic reactions to your sharing. What a lovely conversation. You are a great dancer. Thank you. I curtsy to you as well. It is so beautiful. This is part of what is my joy in being here, when I'm able to reach out with my mind and connect directly in my energy with one of you or each one of you or a group of you, and truly share what I have inside as an internal presence, pure consciousness presence, even beyond having to use words. I love just doing this dance and sharing this energy with you. And let me go through more comments, but that is also, all of this is really what motivates me to do something like a workshop. Like, I would like to teach everyone about self-empowerment tools. I teach intellectual things, like, here is what this painting is all about. Here is the quantum structure of time. Here is the understanding of your chakras and your time field. Then I also love to teach behavioral things that you can do. What do you do when you are in a moment when you feel like energy piranhas are eating you, or if you feel like you're spiraling down into negative thought structures or feelings that feel bad? Any one of us has experienced this, feeling doubt, shame, remorse, guilt, feeling like, oh, you're a bad person. These are all basically what would be considered like demonic attack or something like that. Not that I want to bring our conversation focused on that, because I choose to focus on the higher, greater experience and that which is based in love. But I'm not in denial. This is a very big thing in being here and doing this flying rainbow lasagna oscillation. I do it as a pure self-expression, and I'm encouraging all of you also in your lives to reach for levels of pure cosmic law, impeccable, meaning like without any mistakes, the expression of cosmic law, which is, you have an I am presence, you're allowed to exist. Your existence is given to you by God, by yourself, by this divine creator, and that no one else should come between you and the instrument that is your state of being, your body, your embodiment. That it's really not up to me or anyone else to come along and say whether you're allowed to think or feel or be in a state of health or have access to your body or have access to your healthy functioning of your body. That is what these toning techniques are all about. I sing energy into different light portions of my body, and in doing so, heal and revivify and rebalance those aspects of my body, because that is my divine right, because my body is a gift. Each one of you has a body that is your gift. That is what this is all about. Being here, I just want to emphasize over and over. I'm collecting myself as I say this, because I know people who think of this world as a type of purgatory or a punishment. And I can understand why. There is a lot of suffering here, and there's grief, and there's loss, and there's pain when somebody dies. It's the world of mortality and separation from the divine, even as we're coming into greater levels of reconnection to divinity. And I want to tell you from the truth of my heart, this world is not meant to be a punishment or an imprisonment or a purgatory. Your body and this world and everything that we're experiencing here is meant to be a gift that is from the creator level of abstraction into materiality, into individuation, so that we can learn and grow and evolve and become even more filled with light and even more filled with divine presence than we were before, even though our time structure language doesn't really work on this, when we have not experienced this yet, because I exist in a level that is outside of time. So to me, there's not before, during, after. There's just all concurrent reality. So I am here inside of this linear world of before, during, after. So to say before you learned these lessons is actually not accurate and truthful. You have all already learned these lessons, and you have all already ascended, and you have all already achieved totality consciousness, and you are all already at the state of universal totality being, even as you're right now embedded in time, swimming as a fish swims in a river, going through this level of experience and returning to the sense of knowingness and beingness. You are at eternity. Language fails when it really comes down to it in trying to describe all of this. All of the techniques that I teach about with singing, that I'm sharing about in this upcoming workshop, are about healing your own body, returning to your own divinity, getting back into alignment with the true definition and description of who and what you are, that we're not described by the periphery of what we go through in our life, periphery of failure, sadness, disease. All of those things are not who we really are, and there's no judgment here. Please know and feel the real truth coming from my heart. I'm radically compassionate. Eljo says, thank time, totality, unification, reminder. Exactly. I'll get to your other comments too. I don't want to pass anybody by and give only response to one person, but I just want you to know from the radical compassion and fierce love of my heart, when I speak about the peripheral selves, I'm not saying that anybody is bad or wrong. We all have peripheral selves. You have a core that goes up the center of this. That's who you really are as an ascended master. Then you have all of these other timelines that are like the dead ends, that didn't really make it all the way back home, and that's just not the real you, and that each one of us is in this rectification experience, returning to our true self of who we really are. The singing allows you to return to your true self. And although I'm a warrior and I embody a courageousness and encourage others to do so as well, none of this is about cowardice or denial. It is about the radical compassion of comprehension, that these things that you feel are attacking you, like energy piranhas, like they're chewing away at you, or whatever it is, like sharks are trying to eat you, or demons attacking you, or putis, those residues on the membranes of death, or things that are yelling at you, intrusive thoughts, any of these things. And I have to name them so that you know what I'm talking about, but not give too much vocal energy to them. They're all parts of the larger cosmic fabric that need to be healed. That's what's really happening. When you're feeling under attack in your physical body, if you have like, ow, like this part of my body is hurting, you can be like, ow, like I'm under attack, someone is stabbing me, or there's a problem, or there's a bacteria that's attacking me, or whatever it is. But you can also say, in the neutral cosmic viewpoint, there is something that needs to be healed. A rectification event is required. What is that rectification event? It is a recognition that there is pain in the cosmos, a recognition that there's pain in your individual body, and then you either need to put energy into that place or take energy away from that place or balance the energy that is there. And all of these vocal toning techniques have to do with that. It's not about like taking a sword, I'm gonna cut somebody's head off, or shooting with a projectile weapon or something like that. It is about using your voice and your particular sound to heal your energy field, which again is your gift that you've been given, and you're a caretaker of it. You're a caretaker of your body, of your energy field, of your consciousness, of you are a spark of consciousness that you are caretaking, and you are growing until you become, spoiler alert, a star. You're a little tiny spark of light consciousness, and you are caretaking it until you become a star. Flower Diamond says, I just answered their question. I love you back. Let me scroll back and see what Flower Diamond, give to all of these beautiful comments. Hold on a minute. Back. Infinite Corridor says, do you think there are conscious attempts to prevent us from astral traveling during meditation from negatively polarized beings, or are we the only real blockages for this ability on our journey? Such a beautiful question. The answer is yes and yes. Negatively polarized consciousnesses or fragmentary beings in the larger unity consciousness sense are fragments of ourself. But from the individuated viewpoint of you, me, and what we are right now, they are other, not self, and they do exist as blockades. They're like, oh, you want to do some astral traveling? Well, you ain't going to do that today, and I'm going to make your life hard. Or maybe they're like, I'm in your face, I'm making your life hard, I'm taking your energy away from you. It's just like, you know what I mean? In basketball, like you're trying to shoot a basket, and you got someone else blocking, you got someone else coming in front of you. It is a very real thing that is happening. However, one of the ways to transcend that is to understand that what we are emanating we emanate our own reality experiences. If you are experiencing adversarial conflict and inhibitors, taking full responsibility as divine miniature co-creator means I am somehow creating or emanating these fragmentary thought forms that are trying to hold me back. That is part of the enzyme that unlocks the experience. How do you get out of this dualistic struggle? Because you can be like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna fight against you, jump around, you get around you. And you can do that for years, for lifetimes. However, it doesn't solve things at the foundation level. All of that is just Band-Aid stuff, which is why I don't wanna just give you temporary surface level fixes. That's what Band-Aid means. I wanna give you deep, profound foundation level tools for restructuring your body and restructuring your reality structure. So one of the big things to understand is that you actually are a hugely empowered God in this mortal form, divine miniature co-creator fractal of self, and you're emanating your reality structure. That's the basic idea behind quantum observership, that we are in a sea of waveforms that are potentialities, and that through your observership, you are in the divine field, you are making things happen, you are, this isn't a wall behind me, it's a field of possibilities. My perception is coalescing it into a wall, and I hold that wall in a state of being with my attention, with my sense of consciousness. I'm like, yes, that is the wall of my house where I live, and those are my paintings that I made. They're all thought forms. They are all thought forms. Guess what? My body is a thought form, and guess what? When I feel putti or piranhas attacking me, evil demons, whatever we want to call them, ghosts, spirits, superstructures, I'm making them too. They are thought forms. Now, they might be thought forms that I emanated from a different lifespan or a different level of consciousness. I might not even have emanated them within the past 20 years of being Aurora. However, when I encounter them, I'm like, oh, that's something that I made somehow, somewhen, in some way. And then the responsibility is claiming ownership of that and then saying, well, if I made it, I'm somehow gonna unmake it. If I made a wrong note, like I'm playing the piano of life, oops, my pinky slipped, I played the wrong note, what do I do, jump out the window? No, what you do is you unmake. You send a rectification event, like, here, let me use both of my hands. Here's a waveform that goes up like this. The complement to would be a waveform that goes down like this, and they come together and they create a neutral cancellation wave. That is what you can do with your voice. And that is the concept of flying rainbow lasagna, which involves both the energy aspect of singularity and the entropy aspect of singularity. And entropy is not hell. It is not purgatory. It is not a place of suffering. We do not say to demons, demons, you are bad and you're wrong and you're evil and you deserve to go burn in, entropy, purgatory, hell. It is not about suffering. It is about alleviating suffering. It is about a mathematical solution as to what do we do with fragmentary consciousnesses that are not divine or that are not supposed to be embodied, the mistakes in your piano recital of life. You send them to entropy, which is dampening those strings, turning down the volume. When I make music, I have all these different sound structures in my music software. You can turn up on all of these, but then these ones over here are mistakes. Don't want those, turn them all down, or you can think of it as deleting them, but just for now, in your beingness, turn them all down to volume 0. That is what entropy is. That is my gift, my concept that I have to share. That is the breath of fresh idea that I'm able to bring into this closed system to help the inhabitants here transcend the difficulties and be like, well, what are you gonna do? Like, you've got all this, clearly got a lot of, for lack of a better word, crapola. You got a lot of crapola going on here, and I'm smiling lightheartedly, not like a stupid idiot, but I'm here in solidarity. We know what the crapola feels like. What do we do? What do you do? Fight against it, slash it with a sword, whip it with a lash, any of those things? That doesn't solve anything. And we've done that for thousands of years. What do you do? Here's a new solution. Send it to entropy. And entropy means stillness. Non-being goes to a peacefulness. And that is not a suffering state. And that can be really, really a challenge. Like when I have been in these embattled moments, when I feel like something is hurting me, someone is hurting me, some consciousness feels like it's attacking me. It takes a lot not to want to be like I want to fight against you, I want to punch against you, I want to do something against you. Because that's the warrior empowerment stance. It takes a lot to be like, what I want to do is not add energy to that being, but take energy away from it and turn down the volume and send it into a state of non-being. So all of this has to do with moving out of the reactionary phase. That's kind of like in a science experiment. And you could think of yourself as being in a labyrinth. As human scientists put rats or worms in a labyrinth, if you go over here, you will get shocked. And then you go, I got shocked, now I'm gonna go over here. Zzz, now I go over here, Zzz, now I go over here. So you're constantly going through this labyrinth, evading the negative stimuli and moving towards whatever, like like you're smelling the treat that they have at the end of the labyrinth. That's like pleasure pain stimulus. It's being a science experiment, reactive to various stimuli. If I go over here, if I go towards here, I get a food reward. It's moving out of that level of energetic reactivity, pleasure, pain, and moving towards divine love, which is really saying, I'm not going to feed with my energy and my attention the negativity stimuli. I am going to move towards love and towards these expansive experiences of freedom, which is literally what I do in being here. So in me coming in here as an embodiment of cosmic law, what I do is, and there's many more questions I'll get to, what I do is I say my beingness here is an expression of self-expression and of cosmic law, and that is my purpose here, as opposed to, I came here to fight. That's not what I did. I didn't come through the flying rainbow lasagna to kill, mutilate, destroy, drop a bomb, any of those things. I don't even like to use these keywords. It's not what I'm about. I should say much more in positive language. I came here as a warrior of peace, and that is how I use my vibration and my mind, my consciousness, my gift from God to be able to share with the world. This is meant to be a tool for rectification, for harmony, and for peace. And that is what I teach to other people. And these vocal techniques are also meant to increase peace in your own life. That the way that you get out of the labyrinth, like you're on this little flat two-dimensional labyrinth, moving away from here, moving towards here, moving towards here. The way you get out of it is by jumping off the surface and that is moving in levels of peace and freedom, then you're able to go anywhere, 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 anywhere. You're out of the labyrinth of time. That is the real goal. That's called escaping or transcending the matrix, because the labyrinth is the matrix. Let me scroll on back. I know I'm making squinty, scrolly faces too, because I'm on my phone, which is tiny. And also infinite corridors. The answer then about astral travel and blockages and things like that, we have to really ask ourselves, why would I be blockading my astral travels? Like, why would I put an antithesis in front of my Christ chakra? An antichrist in front of my Christ? Why would I put something that's there so I can't go out the door? Why would I do that? What is this, or what purpose does this serve? Or what am I to learn from this? That is the real question, and the answer must be defined by your own personal experience, your own connection to your higher self perspective, to your perspective in unity consciousness, to your perspective as God. It cannot be something that is answered or defined by me, even though I'm a reflection of you, and I'm talking to you as self-state, and I'm here to increase enlightenment for both of us by sharing spiritual gifts and treasure and talking to you about this. But the answer, any answer of value, is always derived from your inner teacher and your own inner connection to the divine that tells you why are those presences there and what do you have to learn from them. So that's a big enzyme for unlocking in these experiences of embattlement or feeling victimized or feeling downtrodden. It is, why is this happening? What is this thing here? Why is it here to teach me? If it's an aspect of self, what am I to learn from it? Sometimes what you're to learn is simply that there is some pain that needs to be rectified. And then pain doesn't get rectified by like, give it more pain. Like if your liver hurts, like, don't stab it more. Don't give it more poison. Give it something that is healing. And love tone is healing, but that also does not necessarily mean that you're a cosmic doormat. I want to make that very clear. None of what I teach is about just being a victim and being a doormat and be like, okay, piranhas come and eat me. Like, no, 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 no. That is not what it is to be a fiercely compassionate, spiritual, love-based warrior. That it is really to look at, if there's something that's like this, you send it the mathematical complement that goes like this, that evens everything out. And then it takes that thing that's in pain and it sends it into a non-being state. Let me go to more of beautiful comments here. Oh, okay, got it. You're talking about your name, El de Fight. Got it, got it. Our Greek friend, so lovely to see you. I don't know how to pronounce your name either. VUR Life. DG says, I like your music and also your thoughts. Thank you so much, DG. I am working on, this is a little bit of a tangent, but I'm working on so much new music every day. Since October, I've made about 3 new albums and they're just all in the editing process. So very, very soon I will have more formal releases to share with you. And people that are on my, not that I'm making this a huge advertisement, but that are on my Patreon, I share my unedited or semi-edited ongoing songs on there. Like I don't have titles for a lot of them yet. So if you want to really check out my ongoing input, because I write songs almost every day. It's just a part of my thought structure and how I speak through my body and through the cosmos. Yeah, I'm always writing new songs. So if you want to check that out, because I love sharing it with people, just music as a form of communication. And I put them up on SoundCloud too, and then soon I'll have a whole album. The Rudhonen 87, apologies if I can't pronounce people's handles, so thank you for understanding. Says, hi Aurora, so good to finally catch you live. Thank you, it is good to connect with you. Says, I've just finished your last recorded lesson. It's wonderful to see you doing so. That's from Tiffany. Tiffany, thank you so much. Thank you for connecting with me. And yes, literally, I have been through real challenges of the past year. People that follow my experiences know and have seen and witnessed that. And now coming out the other side is all about love tone. I was loved and supported and buoyed up, lifted up by the love and the prayers of so many people. And now that is what I embody. That is what I send out to others. That is what I want to send out to others who are also down in hell. If you're in hell, if you feel like you have piranhas eating you, I want to send you love and get you out of there and teach you how to also rise up into a lighter level of being and not to have to feel like you're being surrounded by demons all the time. Infinite Corridor says, I was meditating the other day and asking my higher self, who am I and what is my truest form? I was shown that on some level, my truer form is like a beautiful king cobra. How to interpret this? Okay, I will never again, like, you know what I'm saying? Just to reaffirm, I will not, again, to reaffirm, as my language is not working, I won't define other people's levels of experience for themselves. However, understand that there is a historical significance to the cobra, both in ancient India, the Hindu tradition, as the cobra that came up behind the meditator with the great, like the hood that is a protector, and also ancient Egypt as an emanator from the third eye. You will see it in some of these sarcophagi, golden adornments. Tendril of attention. Just consider that. And that reptilian, the word and the concept, has gotten a very bad rap in the sense of our cultural precept and what we are experiencing here. We do have a reptilian aspect of self in terms of the brain stem of your physical bio-bodysuit structure, and the what is called kundalini, or serpent of energy that rises up your spine and then connects with your pineal gland. Your pineal gland is a vestigial heritage of reptilian being. Reptiles are extremely connected to light and to the day-night cycle, and they're cold-blooded. When the light is dark, they don't move, they sit there in darkness and coldness. Then when the light comes on, they generate again and they digest their food. That's why if you have a reptile as a pet, you have to give them a little hot light, and they sit under the hot light, and they have like a little opening on the top of their head that they sit right underneath your little lamp for them. We have that too. It's our pineal gland. But your pineal gland is your connection to time, the great inner teacher, that is Christ, higher dimensional wisdom. In many different ways, it is a hugely positive, supernatural empowerment tool. So it's not, please don't throw it out the window, the symbolic representation of snake and dragon and reptile. Like, it's just hard to even talk about these things. We just need to cleanse it with Windex, clean off all of the smudges of cultural interpretation to even be able to have a conversation about this. But it's a hugely impactful aspect of our anatomy, but it can be considered dangerous if it's not controlled and connected to God. It's an empowerment tool, just like anything. If it's not being used in a divine way, then there's real questions about whether it's being used dangerously. So, hi, Mr. Limes, great for you to be here. Blue says, what can we do to escape the reincarnation trap? Great question. Also, where do we end up when we leave the reincarnation trap? Thank you. Thank you for your questions. The reincarnation trap is sometimes, I call it the cosmic washing machine, where you die, you drop your physical presence, your light presence or thought form presence is not able to escape the electromagnetic encapsulation of this realm, and you get kind of hooked and then kind of dropped back into another experience here, and you go through the cosmic washing machine again and again. The real answer is by developing a coherent light form body that is able to be coherent to the point of going beyond the bounds that are frequency boundaries. The terrarium that I've been talking about is a frequency terrarium, not a glass that keeps you inside, but it's similar to, imagine if you were a bird and you're like, I'm gonna fly against the glass, can't get out, can't get out, can't get out, you can't, hitting your head and your beak against the glass. It's a frequency, and the way that you go through the boundaries, it's a frequency portal. I have a song on my album that's called Under a Gentle Sun that is about Symphony of Life, where I'm talking about these concepts, and I say, go through the frequency door, 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 door. That's what it is all about. You have to change and reshape who and what you are, to reshape your energy field so that just like a key goes into a lock, you're the right shape to be able to go through the frequency door, 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 door. So that means everything from being able to change, rebalance, heal, and reshape your chakras, to flying rainbow lasagna in terms of this is a tool for transcendence, jumping up and over and reshaping DNA and things like that that have been genetically modified and programmed in as limitations to keep you continually within the terrarium because you're not the right shape to go through the frequency door. So there are many different approaches, and I teach my own particular flavor of approaches as to basically reshaping your consciousness. into a different coherent frequency shape, meaning like a laser light being that sticks together and doesn't disperse and is able to go through the frequency door. And then what happens is you rejoin with the larger superstructure of time, space, and consciousness and pure light, and you are no longer circulating around in these patterns here that have been limitations, I want to say like a prison. It's meant to be a refinery of consciousness, but humans have been kept here illegally and longer than they need to be through these rather unfair practices. I know I'm very considerate with my, I am considering every single word that I'm saying. There's a lot of cosmic laws that have been broken, or a lot of ways in which cosmic law has been suspended that made your stay here possibly longer than it had to be. All of that is being rectified now. I snap my fingers. Cosmic law is here, and that means that it truly is a meritocracy where you are able to exit through the frequency door when you are the right shape, and that's how it should be. Darina Yordanova, hi, thank you for being here. Eldur says, I do the same, singing into energetic alignment, kindred souls. Beautiful friend, thank you for connecting with me. Flower Diamond got answers to their question, probably telepathically. A no-name person says, how much is that rainbow talisman worth? I would say infinite. It's the shape of God and divinity. I would say infinite. I do make sculptures that are of the flying rainbow lasagna. I do make small earrings that are 3D printed and other small sculptures. I just don't have any on my website available right now, but I used to sell little 4-inch, 3D printed models. So yeah, I can, something, if you have an interest, I could do some on commission. I could do like a pre-sale. I just don't have them right now, but you can always contact me if they want to, for like maybe a couple of $100, the little ones like this. But it's an infinitely precious, but I don't want to be like Gollum, from the Lord of the Rings, where it's only mine, No, it's not like that at all. It is actually something that I expansively offer to others. But the physicality structures cost me money to create, so that's why sometimes I have to charge money for them. Mr. Lime says, we need a different word for warrior. The root of war is such a bummer. I completely agree, Mr. Limes, because what is positive in terms of warrior is an association with strength, non-victimhood, self-empowerment, and even the sense of protecting others. That truly a warrior fights for what is right, for what is righteous. That warriors in the village life, in that level of being, would be the sense of protectors of children, old people, weaker people. That to be a warrior of love and a warrior of consciousness is to be in service to the entirety. You of course fight and protect yourself. I am here fighting and protecting the time field itself, and I am here with my concepts, sharing these with fierce love and compassion to all of you as a way of wanting to protect and heal you from these negative thought forms that can be very troubling. They are perilous. They can cause death. They can cause disease. They can hurt you a lot. They cause a lot of suffering. They're in suffering themselves. I feel hugely protective of all of you. However, there are also aspects of free will and consent. And am I allowed to wave my magic wand? Wave a magic wand and poof, everybody is healed. Not allowed to, or that is not an effective approach. And there are all of these things that have to be considered in terms of balancing cosmic law and the individual and my desires to heal all of you, and your desires to go through your enlightenment process and to be on your journey of acceptance. It is a very challenging, multi-layered school of consideration when we get to these higher levels of empowerment, of where your third eye is active and where you're being divinely guided. So I am always deferring to the sense of cosmic law and to doing what is right and what is righteous, and that's always about freedom and allowing. I allow everyone their journey, including the journeys of how did these demons and evil beings get into existence? They made mistakes. How did beautiful coherent light forms that got through the frequency door get through the frequency door? They played perfect symphonies. Let's give equal voice to all of those beings. There are ascended masters, coherent light beings. Each one of you is an inevitable ascended master. You will become your true, divine, perfected, honed focused self that is eternal in your structure, and you are even in that time beyond time reaching back now as a thought form to help yourself in who you are and in your journey right now, because that's the inevitability. Like, I reach backward in time to help myself back then so that then I can be this vehicle now, so that I can also be in the future reaching back to help myself now. It's a whole big causality loop. It's why I'm here as Flying Rainbow Lasagna. I'm helping you. You're actually me. I'm here now helping me so that you will actually grow and beyond and become a part of me and a part of what I am, part of the Aurora Collective, a part of the divine superstructure, a part of the time field. I'm helping myself, and also how to effectively help myself, how to effectively help you as individual being. It is always up to you and your own divine connection and your own freedom and your own individuality structure. It is not for me to jump inside of you and be like, I will just drive your car and do what I want to do. And like, no. You're an artist of your own reality, so you must paint with your own paintbrush. And that is also part of the leveling up. Gaining the skills in navigating your own life so that you are moving in these positive directions, flying with your own wings of consciousness, and we're all flying in formation. And that is what my Aurora Collective and these divine superstructures of consciousness, like becoming a star, is all about. Radical self-responsibility, radical self-accountability, living in a state of pure freedom, and allowing others their journey as well, even as you recognize in unity consciousness that they are all part of you. It's a lot in the level of words. You could be like, oh my God, we're like, none of that even makes sense, because the words are just like part of the difficulty of being here. But when you tune into my energy field, you can feel the truth of what I'm trying to say. Just feeling my energy field. Let's sing up the chakras. Oh, ooh, oh, ah. I, A, E, E. Just tuning in to those tones and to that basic truth of vibration and truth of divine frequency. There is no wiggle room or consideration, or I don't even know what is being spoken about with words, just that truth. And I'm sure that each one of you has had moments of experience of the numinous, the oceanic consciousness. Might have been from tripping or something, or just being in a very high emotional state. It's beyond words, it's beyond verbalization. It's just pure cosmic love where you just know. And that's it. That's what I teach to people, that you just know. Yes. Tiffany says, thanks, Aurora. That was exactly what I needed to hear. I feel like I'm being devoured almost daily. So much love. The love back to you, Tiffany. Yeah, so what I am teaching are ways not to be devoured, because truly the piranhas of energy, they eat lower energy food. Sadness, grief, even self-doubt, any of those things that kind of make you like wiggle like this, kind of sink on down, that kind of stuff, that's what they eat. And they like to make food too. They like to make you go like if you're like, I'm going along like this, I'm grooving along, they might like to make you go like this, like we're gonna turn you to the side and get some food from you. The singing is how I get from turn to the side back up. If I feel myself starting to go down, spiral down, go crooked, turn to the side, I, A, E, I go back up. And these are things that have really helped me. And again, for people that have witnessed my journey, I was really down in it for a long time, did a lot of fighting, and I thought that that made me a strong person and a good person, and it does, and it did, and I just gave them a ton of energy. I fought against them a lot, and they got energy from me, and I fought more, and they got more energy. And what really happened was I started to strengthen my own energy field and rise up and occupy levels beyond that. And it doesn't mean that I live in denial of that level of existence, because the crap exists. The stinky crap exists, and it still needs to be rectified. I rectify it from a standpoint of freedom. Go through the frequency door, and then you are in a different level of empowerment, where let's say you have a giant bucket and a giant mop, and you're able to do a giant industrial size of laundry, cosmic laundry, as opposed to scrubbing away at one pair of socks at a time, like, oh, I'm scrubbing away, I'm doing one little, like, oh, this is taking so long to fix everything up. Instead, throw it all in the giant industrial washing machine. Do a giant load the way you do at the laundromat, get it all done at once. That's what you do from this level of empowerment that comes from singing up the chakras. So take time, or the better way to do it is saying, take your energy and focus and put it into creating a holistic energy field and being empowered. From the state of empowerment, then approach all of these healing and rectifications that need to happen. It's the giant cosmic laundry system, the scrubbing bubbles that scrub away all of these consciousness residues that are healing that needs to happen. And literally that work is your sacred work. It's your sacred path. It's why you are here. It's why one is here. When you're attacked and assaulted, it's not because you're a bad person at all. You don't deserve it, and you don't deserve to be in hell. What you deserve to do is live in peace and freedom. And these things are there like in your face, in your face, in your face, because they need to be healed and rectified. And we are all here on these journeys of self-healing, healing the time field itself, healing negative thought forms that need to be brought back into a state of love. And this is our work. This is how we do it. This is your purpose. Your purpose is not like earning money for Uncle Sam and paying your taxes. Your purpose is healing the world. Infinite Corridors says, thank you so much for answering these questions. You are a wonderful being. Thank you for that. And your aura is full and beautifully luminous. Thank you for that recognition. I appreciate all you are here doing to help others. Thank you for that beautiful reflection that from absolutely is like a food that helps me and encourages me and helps me to keep going. Just like when you're playing a song and people are like, hooray, we love your song. It's like, yes, like I'm gonna play some more because you enjoyed my song. Thank you so much. So yes, because I've been here for 20 years, sharing my song, sharing my ideas, sharing my energy. I see humanity leveling up. So I'm proud of you. I am proud for you and proud for your efforts. And I appreciate all of the beautiful reflection back of the positive energy that I send out. Blue says, thank you so much. I think I know what you mean. Can you maybe make a video on how to do the dance, please? Thank you so much for your work. I do sometimes share my dance in video form. I am very cautious not to share it in an ego sense because the dance is so much more about what it feels like on the inside than what it looks like on the outside. So a ballerina like balances on the tips of the toes and it's like, ow, 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 this really hurts, but it looks so good to the audience. Like my dance is not like that at all. My dance is really more about the inner experience of this vibration and this frequency back and forth between my self-embodiment here and my self-externalized external presence that is already through the frequency door. And when I have workshopped it and I have taught people about this, I teach them that it is much more about the internal experience than it is about the external viewer. So I do have videos associated with my class, and I do sometimes do demonstrations, and I do sometimes share with my hands what it is like to do some of these arabesques of DNA, and it is always guided by the higher presence. It is guided by the intelligence of the sun, stars, and divine architecture of what I'm doing, when I'm doing it. It's spontaneous. And then, so I put up a protective energy field. I am a cosmic computer, for lack of a better word, doing these complex calculations and connecting myself and the trillions of cells of my being to this larger superstructure computer. And then I also, after doing some of these beautiful patterns, make a measure break or a paragraph break or bring it back together. And from that coming together, then there's the next expansion, and then there's the next diving off point. And that this dance doesn't end when I stop moving my limbs. It continues when I go into my kitchen and when I eat a beautiful salad, or when I, walk down the street with my dog. And it continues in the verbalized vocal presence of communicating, and it continues in the social structure of how I meet and interact with other people. It's just like when you do a running cardio, and then you get off of the treadmill, your body still keeps going with that really fast movement. Doing the Flying Rainbow Lasagna is vibrating into a higher dimensional reality, getting energy from beyond the limitations of the human terrarium, and then continuing that high metabolism state even while you go through your day in a sense of divinely connected love and empowerment. So it's a dance that is about transforming and redefining your experience of being here, not a dance as is often shown on YouTube, where people want to look beautiful or sexy or serve their ego in some way. So I'm just really cautious all the time about sharing my dance from a really integrity viewpoint of being able to say it's about how you feel inside, not about what you look like to others, and it is about reestablishing your divine connection and your loving self-empowerment state. And you can do it with your eyes closed, and you can do it sitting in a chair. If you are not mobile or if you have mobility issues, you can move whatever body parts you can move, including simply vibrating on a cellular level or vibrating with your consciousness. It is not only a dance for the able-bodied, it is a dance for everyone, and it is a regenerative dance that brings you into greater levels of healing in the body. And it's what I have done in order to heal a lot of neurological issues, what killed the original occupant of this body. The dance has helped to regenerate my body and my brain structure and my ability to move. And that is how am I not paralyzed on one side? How am I talking, walking, and speaking and doing everything? It is through regenerating. So it is a powerful dance of divine reconnection and fulfillment of your destiny and returning to the trueness of yourself. Let me go to a few more questions, then I will wrap it up. Greetings from Oklahoma. Greetings back. Ditto, Infinite Corridors. We appreciate you so much, Aurora. Thank you. Thank you for the beautiful love and reflection. You guys are truly sustaining me. Thank you. I love you right back. Thank you. Yeah, I will. So if you want to know more about the dance, connect with me. I will share it more. I love to share it more. I wish that I didn't have the consideration of having to be worried about being misinterpreted, and I could just be like, yes, everybody, here's my dance. Like I do it all the time. I do it in my kitchen, I do it in my living room, I do it out in the courtyard, I do it in my backyard. Pig Odette says she talks like an Italian with her hands, just joking. Hey everyone. You know, I do gesture a lot. I do connect a lot with the Italian culture. Sumac says, wow, yes, I do that as well. Folding clothes, etc. Everything becomes smooth like the dance. Every single thing that we are doing becomes the dance of life. Darina says, I do the dance as well, but I make it up. Don't know if it is connected. Yes, that makes sense. Oh, hold on. I will end our video soon because my battery is going low. But yeah, many times when people connect with me, they're like, I danced for years. I didn't know what I was doing. It is an ecstatic dance. It is a trance dance. It is a dance that you might do when you are feeling your most divine self. And I encourage everyone to keep going with this. So it's really a dance on an intergenetic level and on a chakra-based level, your energy centers of your body, and on a consciousness level, and a dance with your divine presence, and a dance with other organisms like trees and stars and butterflies and microbes. You are dancing with all of those levels of consciousness throughout time and throughout creation. It is part of being the fabric of everything that is alive. It is an amazing dance, and it is your birthright and what you're made to do in being here. So I encourage everyone to do it. I'm gonna wrap up this video because I'm losing my battery power, but I wanna just reiterate, thank you for everyone who's been talking with me. Thank you, Sumac, love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for people that did sharing and commenting. Thank you for embodying and listening to my work and sharing it more with others. And then the other thing, what motivated me for being here is invitation to learning more of these techniques for healing and self-empowerment. That's my upcoming workshop. I have a partner colleague that I'm working with named Patricia, and she is very adept at leading people through these vocal toning exercises and sharing about how to use them for clearing particular areas of the body. So that is what we're doing, and there's an enrollment link. And as always, when I say like there's an enrollment, there's a tuition, it costs this much money. You know me at this point. If you want to participate, and if money is an issue, contact me and do like a payment plan, a scholarship, a something. But then there are other people that are happy to be able to pay the enrollment fee, and then they make up for the other people that aren't able to pay it. It is not about that. It is really about the participation in it and the healing that you do in your own body, and reverberating that outward. And that, you know, the money is a symbolic energy structure of energy that is being exchanged. So it's literally, it's an intensive boot camp. 2 hours of a workshop on Monday, beginning this Monday, then 2 hours of exercise practice the next day, then another 2-hour workshop on Wednesday, then 2 hours of exercise practice on Thursday, then another workshop on Friday, 2 hours, and then a summation 2 hours on Saturday. And all of this is guiding you up and down the scale, and you're gonna sing, it's boot camp, just like you're gonna do your exercises. That's why it's called boot camp, not because we're making you into some kind of warlike, you know, soldier machine. Not at all like that. So please don't misinterpret any of my words or languaging. And that's really why I came here and did this extremely explanatory video for you to understand. This is not about this type of fighting at all. It is absolutely about love radiating, which is a profound way of approaching and healing that which is in need of healing in the superstructure, in your individual life. And I go around toning all the time, and I tone in my mind, and I do it singing with my dog. Like, it's a powerful way of transforming your life and your body and bringing more joy and more divine connection into your body. So I'm inviting you to be along with me on this. So yeah, I'll keep the enrollment link. What happens if we work when the class is? Don't worry, it will be archived, and through quantum entanglement, which means the telepathic presences will be there when you want to tap into them. They'll be waiting for you in your telepathic inbox. It will be recorded and uploaded. I'll send you a link so that you can catch up with it, but it's not going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on Vimeo. So this is the YouTube, you know, I wanted to connect with everyone too. It's really good that I did this. Got a lot of beautiful light and love reflected back to me as I'm sending it out to you all the time. But I'm going to go do some music now, because I did a lot of really good, you know, sending out. When I do music, then that's a lot of like divine presence coming into me and through my fingertips. I love to do that. It is a way of like feeding my heart and my cellular being. So I go into a very nonverbal state and I do that. Yeah, and actually my website needs to be updated. You're asking me of where the enrollment is. So what I'm gonna do is put the enrollment link here in the comments and the description. You don't even need to know. My website is having to be migrated from a server to another server, and I'm working with different companies. And maybe if someone is an expert and they want to reach out to me and do some kind of energy exchange, that would be wonderful and amazing, because I could certainly use the help to be able to figure out what to do with my emails and my servers and my GoDaddy and all of this. That's part of being here, as opposed to living on an interdimensional world where I eat mind strawberries and I don't, but I'm here eating the strawberries of this world and being a part of this world, and I'm not complaining. It is part of it. So maybe miracles can happen in terms of redoing my website. Sending good 432 vibes to everyone in chat. Since you mentioned 432, let me bring my instrument over here. I know my battery of my phone is just about to wind down, but let me show you what I've got in my instrument. Can you see? Yes. Let's end on a positive note. Ready? Thank you, everyone. I'm going to end the stream for now. Thank you so much. And sending out real cosmic love to all of you. Thank you.